Hey everybody, it's Maddie from Mostly Maddie. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for being here and spending some time with me today. We discuss all things journaling related, so if that's something you're interested in, then you are in the right place and feel free to stick around. Today I'm going to be doing a flip through of all of my journal spreads from the month of October. It is currently mid-November. I usually like to do a flip through of all of the pages that I created in the month previous. I am going to be changing things moving forward a little bit. I previously have always shared spreads from my memory keeping planner. So this is my planner that I use, but every page is actually journaling and documenting my family's life. I've been on the fence a while about continuing to share these pages. One, because I feel like when I'm flipping through them, I don't really feel like I'm providing any value for all of you because it's pretty mundane in the sense of like, I'm really just capturing what's going on in my family's life. There's a lot of photos, so I'm often having to put post-it notes and blur faces to keep my kids off of the internet. And as they're now getting older and I'm starting to document more about them and their personalities. While I am a person of the internet, I just don't feel like it is a place for children. And I think as I continue to get more detailed in the things I talk about in here around my kids, it just doesn't feel great to be sharing that online. This is kind of something that I want to be theirs to treasure eventually when they're older, and to kind of have all of it out onto the internet just feels a little bit like an invasion of privacy. I think in previous years, like last year when I was doing it, it was a lot more focused around me, and they were also a lot smaller. So it wasn't necessarily them and their personalities weren't taking up a ton of space in these pages. But now that they're getting older, I feel like there's just a lot more that I want to capture around them. And I've just made the decision that I'm just not going to share this online anymore. This is just going to be for me and my family. Occasionally, maybe on, Instagram, I can share a page or two if it is not super focused on them. But because so much of it is, I just don't feel like there's really a lot of value in me flipping through this on YouTube or really anywhere else. So just a caveat, that is going to no longer be shown on my page, which I think is fine because honestly, I'm always way more excited to share what I'm creating in my creative journal, which is where I do a lot more like scrapbooking. I do junk journaling, art journaling. So this is more where a lot more creativity comes out for me, and I think they're more fun to look at visually versus the memory keeper. I'm also working in a composition notebook, and I can share some of those pages as well because I'm kind of flipping between the two, still trying to decide how to use them both. I really like the composition notebook because of the size of it. I'm enjoying it for really like junk dump style spreads, whereas I feel like when I'm using junk in here, it's more for memory keeping. It's more like around a specific event, whereas anything going into my composition notebook is like packaging I thought was pretty, something that had a cool design and not necessarily tied to like a memory or anything like that. Here is the composition that I was talking about. So I will flip through the two of these today and just talk through all of the pages and spreads, where I got ideas from. Anything else as I'm flipping through, I can share with you all. I hope you guys understand moving forward how I plan to show these monthly recaps. It is almost the end of the year. I have a few more videos that I would like to get out before the end of the year. And one of those is setting up my Hobonichi Weeks, which look how cute. I got this little crocheted pouch from somebody I found on TikTok, and it fits the Hobonichi Weeks perfectly. So I got the pink to match because my Hobonichi Weeks is pink, and I'll be sure to share her information in the description below. They're really cute, and she crochets all of them. I just think that's really neat. So I still have this, it's still in the packaging, and I do plan to get this set up. I'm going to get all the tabs in here, and then my plan for my video is to go through and show you my setup for the back pages, which is where I do my mini reading journal. A lot of people ask about how to set that up, how I figure out how many squares I need and just all the different measurements. So it's definitely going to be more of like a technical video, more of a how-to, and I will for sure be getting that one out by the end of the year. The other video I'm hoping to get out will be what my planner lineup is for next year, 2026. However, I'm still waiting on two planners. So the video is going to depend on when those come in. I'm not sure. And one says that it's going to be shipping in December. So we'll see. But if that doesn't go out in December, that will be like early January that I'll be sharing that. Another topic I've been getting asked a lot is what printers I use. Realistically, those are probably the last videos of the year, unless something else comes up that I'm unaware of as of now. I recently hit 20,000 subscribers, which genuinely blows my mind. I can't believe that so many of you are here and enjoy my page. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you've ever commented, liked, shared, or just subscribed, anything that you do in that form is a way to support me so I can continue making these videos. So I appreciate you all so much for being here. I love being a part of this community and sharing in our passions and hobbies together. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera over and we are going to get started in my October journal flip throughs. I don't think that I have shown any pages from this journal, if I'm remembering correctly. This one is what I'm currently working in. I'm almost finished in here, which is crazy because it's only been a month, but I've just been really enjoying the practice in here and just coming up with a bunch of different ideas and yeah, just having a lot of fun. Per usual, this is a Leuchtturm and this is a hard cover. So I have now kind of realized, I think my preference when it comes to this style of journaling is using the soft cover. That was the journal that I was previously in, my green one. I also have used the B5 size, which is bigger, and the soft cover, and really enjoyed that as well. However, I am on a notebook buying ban. I'm setting up a lot of buying restrictions for myself just to motivate myself to actually use supplies I already have, because God knows I have a plethora of notebooks to pull from. So I had this one sitting on my shelf, and so I decided to use it, and I'm going to get through all of my A5 notebooks for junk journaling and this kind of creative journaling before I can buy anything else. So yeah, this was what I had. I really like this blue color, and you can see the spine is holding up very well, even though it is the hardcover. What I usually do with these is there's a lot more pages in here than the soft cover. I think it's double the amount of pages. So I will go through and just glue some pages together. That way it doesn't get too bulky and I don't have to like stress about having the spine crack or anything like that. So let's get her opened up. Yeah, I started this October 1st, so I have not shown this journal at all. And so this is what I usually do at the beginning, is write myself a note and then just jot down some of my favorite things at the very moment that I'm making the journal. Something else I've been doing is writing like exactly what was happening while I was creating these pages, just because I'm trying to be better about being like super in the moment and like capturing really like those types of moments, like exactly where I was during my day, just anything like that. So because it was the beginning of a month, I have been doing these end of month checklists and then creating my reading curriculum. So in here, I just do some digital things that I really like to try to do at the end of every month. And that is mostly related to photos, getting all of my pictures uploaded to the cloud so I can kind of delete them off of my camera roll. And then I have a digital camera that I use for my other page where I do photography. So I just like to get everything offloaded off the memory card onto my computer, get everything onto the hard drives, and then delete everything so I can start every month fresh. And it helps me stay organized because, once you get to a certain point with having thousands of photos, it's really hard to sit down and try to organize everything. So if I do it at the end of the month, it feels way more achievable and I don't get as overwhelmed and I'm more likely to actually do. And then same with household items, which I ended up doing all these things. I'm really bad about going back and checking things off. So just general, housekeeping things that I like to do at least once a month, which is wiping high traffic areas, cleaning out my car, cleaning out my purse, washing everyone's bedding. And then just a random thing I had to do was my baby, I had to swap out his clothes because, he's just like growing so fast and we don't have enough space in his drawers. So then I'm going through my curriculum here and It's not like I have to read these. These are just kind of generally like what I would like to either learn or what I'm in the mood for at the time of making this curriculum. I am such a mood reader, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep making these moving forward because, like, realistically, I mean, we can go through here. Let's see. I did not read this yet. I did read this, and I think it was because I was already reading it. So I was like, oh, I can put this in here since I'm already reading it. So it kind of felt like cheating. A physical book, I haven't read that yet because I was working through, I had 2 other physical books that I was trying to get through before that. And then this audio, again, I'm pretty sure I was already listening to it. So it kind of feels like cheating. So the ones that I was already reading are in here. And then the ones that I weren't, I didn't get to. So I'm like, do I really want to keep making this curriculum? Maybe not right now, just knowing the type of reader that I am. Maybe it just doesn't feel super realistic. Okay, this was the beginning of the month, and I took my 6-year-old on he really wanted to go camping, and we don't have all of the camping equipment that we need. I'm not quite ready for that, honestly. And so I thought Postcard Cabins would be a great alternative. They're these really teeny cabins, and they're set up like in a campground sort of situation, and you get a fire pit, you have a bed, a small cooking area, and just for the 2 of us, it was perfect. And so we made a trip of it, and we had so much fun. It was a really, really nice time. So this is the note that they had left in the cabin. Behind there is the map of the campground, and then I highlighted the one that we stayed in. They left like a s'mores packet, and so this is the box from the s'mores, and then I just used a piece of paper from Collage Soup as the background since it was the beginning of fall, and printed some photos, used my Canon selfie, and then I used my Fujifilm Instax, and I've been liking writing, just like a little caption on here just to kind of tie the whole thing together. So that was such a fun night, and I'm so glad that we did that. What I like to do is, I usually keep the mailer that I received, and then depending on what it is that I purchased, if it's washi tape, I'll always swatch the washi tape because I like to just kind of have somewhere like a reference of where it came from, because a lot of times washi tape does not have like who it's from anywhere on the roll. So this is just a nice way for me to remember where things came from. This is actually an artist. She is in the UK. I did spend an arm and a leg on shipping, but I really wanted this washi tape for my book journal for 2026. So when I make my pages in my Hobonichi weeks, I always like add a border, and I like to switch it up. And I saw this washi tape and I thought it was so perfect, and her stuff is so cute. So I ended up buying like quite a few items just to make myself feel better about what I was paying in shipping. And these were the washi tapes. They're really cute. And I do these at the end of every month. This is where I do highlights from the month before. And I just draw like a little icon to represent whatever it is that I'm talking about. And I'll always include how many books I read and then what my favorite was from the month. And then the rest are subject to change based on, what happened that month for me. So we celebrated our 9-year wedding anniversary. I hit 20K on Instagram. I finally got to go back to Orange Theory after taking the summer off when I fractured my wrist, and we went to Oktoberfest, which was really fun. Then over here, just a quick recap of any media that I consumed. So I like to pull all of our top listened to songs from Spotify. Now, this includes my kids' music. So there is a way, if you wanted to, you could exclude certain music or artists, I think. But I actually really like to have this because they get in such like modes of obsession with certain songs. And I just think this is a really fun thing to capture and remember, because I don't think that there would be no way for me to remember this. Like, and you could see Trout Fishing in America. That was like a really big one for them this month. It was music that I listened to growing up, and I don't know what happened, but like one day I just like remembered listening to that music, and so I put it on and they loved it so much. So yeah, that was clearly very popular in the month of September. And then we started watching The Paper, and here is my reading recap. So I pull this from Storygraph, which I love for getting you like really good stats from your reading month. Okay, this is a bit of a junky spread, and when I did that trip with my son, when we were heading back to our house, we were meeting my husband and my 2 other kids, and along the way, I saw this sign. We were just going through this really small town in Appalachia, and I saw this sign for this literary arts and storytelling festival. So we had a little time to kill before we were meeting them. And so we stopped and we had such a nice time. It was in this public square, and they had like PBS Kids had a booth there. Their local library had like a little trailer there. And then the Children's Museum nearby had like a bunch of crafts and activities to do. Face painting. There was like a scavenger hunt, just, encouraging literacy. And it was really enjoyable and like just one of those fun, sporadic, like we did not have that planned. It was really spur of the moment. Like literally was driving, saw the sign, and I asked him if he wanted to go, and he said yes. So we just went. And yeah, this is all of the random stuff that we got. A bookmark. This I think was from PBS had a brochure, and so I just cut that out. Some, stickers. This was from the museum. And then this bag, we had purchased some soap. So I'd use the bag as kind of like the background. And then this was the brochure from the event itself. This is just a page of washi tape. I purchased these 3 rolls from Collage Soup, and I just think they're really, really cool. And so I wanted to make a page that kind of visually showcased all of them. And then this was just like a random sticker also from Collage Soup. So that same weekend, this was where we ended up meeting my husband and my other kids. We went to Yellow Springs. There was a rental property there that wanted to host me so that I could, feature their property on my Instagram channel. So we got to spend a weekend in Yellow Springs, which is a really cool, funky town in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, and it is just full of character and life. I put some pictures in there and then just kind of wrote about the weekend, our trip there, which was really fun. This is the first time I've ever done a spread that goes this way, and I was inspired to create this spread. I went to Orange Theory, which is where I do my workout classes, and they had a cauldron, and then it was like motivational like quotes in their bubbles, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I had some goals I wanted to try to hit by the end of the year. So I was like, how cool would it be to make, sort of like a Halloween inspired goal page? So I drew this cauldron with just a black marker, and then I had this green paper already. So I cut out like these little, flames, made my bubbles, and then this is also the green paper. And then I had these bat stamps from Cocoa Daisy. I used a distresser to add, this like all that extra green on the page. And I don't know, I'm really proud of this. I think it looks really cool for something that like I saw, at my gym. It was just kind of funny. I feel like that's a testament of you can really find inspiration anywhere you go. And now I'm looking, and I would say I've hit 3 of the goals. So still haven't hit 25K on YouTube, but I have done all of these 3 things. So I love that. It's always fun to go back and look at your goals and see, if you've made progress or not. This is basically the cover of a book. This is a nonfiction read, and I just thought the book cover was really beautiful. So this was an audiobook I was listening to. So while I listened to the audiobook, I created this spread, and I used those Caran d'Ache wax pastels to create this page. And yeah, that was really all I did. I was just like, when I'm trying to focus and really listen to an audiobook, I like to have a task, something to do with my hands. And so this worked really well, creating this page like while I was actively listening to the book. This is just a random page. There's no like rhyme or reason for it. I just thought it was really cool. Collage Soup has an ebook that had this cabinet, and all these like little trinket type things were either from Collage Soup, or I had a sticker book, the like mystical, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I pulled most of the trinkets for this page from this Mystical Ephemera sticker book. So I just flipped through here and found stuff that fit into the cabinet, and I just thought it was like a cool page. I've just been doing a lot of like more art journaling and just creating spreads that, you know, aren't necessarily like tied to a memory or anything like that. They're just, it's really something for me to do at the end of the day to unwind. Like a lot of people will go and sit on their couch and watch TV. I come up here and I do journaling instead. So these are just lyrics from an MGK song. And I was inspired to do this because I had this piece of paper from Collage Soup, and I was listening to MGK, and then that lyric came through my ears, and I was like, oh, that would be like a cool spread to do. And then I added, it's probably hard to see on here, but I have like a glitter that I added to the page, and like all these little stars I put the glitter on. And so it's just like a fun page. Again, there's no like rhyme or reason for why I did this. It was just what I was feeling in the moment. And I feel like that is part of the beauty of, you know, doing journaling and art journaling is it's just kind of like a therapeutic practice. It doesn't necessarily have to like mean anything. I got a new pen from Ellington Pens. It was my first one from them. And so I just wanted to document the new fountain pen. So this is what I wrote with, and I used this Monteverde Purple Rain. That's what I inked the pen with, and I really enjoyed it, and it started to write beautifully. Oh, one thing to note, which I'll also add in my description, but they have given me a code to share with people if you're ever interested in trying out Ellington pens. They are pretty reasonably priced. I would say they're between $40 to $60, I think, is the price point for most of their fountain pens. They also have, you know, ballpoint pens, and they're very beautiful. They're like very classy, stunning looking. And if you use code MADY, MADY, you get 20% off, which is a pretty good discount. I feel like most are usually 10, so the 20 is a nice discount, and they're always running deals and specials and stuff. So the code won't work whenever they're, you know, running any sort of special, but yeah, I will include that in the description if you ever want to use it. This is another just mail. So this was tissue paper from this shop that I ordered from, and it's all very like colorful and pink, and you can see this is like the time where I was trying to get all the things so I could set up my reading journal for next year. So I got a couple of things from the shop, Emily Cromwell Designs, and yeah, this tissue paper, I was like, oh, I have to use this. And like I said, I always like to document, you know, when I buy things from different shops, just so I have some sort of memory of like what all I purchased from that shop. And this is Prince of California, King of Packaging, or Prince of Packaging, I should say. Like, this background is just the packaging that came with my order, and I just am obsessed. Like, his attention to detail is so cool. I love that every order, like every time he has a drop, there's sort of like a theme around it. So you get this Prince of Video membership card, which is like giving Blockbuster. And I had ordered these star washi tapes, and I think I ordered a couple other things too. But like I said, I usually only put the washi tape in because everything else I want to obviously save for, you know, like a specific journal spread. A lot of like bits and bobs from Patreon. You can see I wrote Patreon and other mail that I had received, and was just kind of hanging on to everything and didn't really know what to do with it. So I just put it all into a spread like this. So it just had a random piece of background paper from Collage Soup, and then these two pieces were mailers from the different shops. And yeah, this one is 520 Creative. I had bought some stickers and Julie Plans. I even wrote in here, she had introduced me to this brand, and then I am now part of Reno Graphics Patreon. And what is this one? Oh, Ume's Journals. Oh my gosh, Ume makes some really, really cool sticker sheets, and so I bought some stickers from her Halloween drop, and yeah, I'm excited to get more from Ume. She's got some really, really cool stuff. Now, this was my first one from Bang Bang Paper Club. And so this was like the official member, you know, little piece of scrap that she put in with the Patreon order, and then she does sticker sheets and other just like random bits and bobs of things. So I just kind of put everything in here, and I loved this little gratitude list. So I wrote down some things that I was grateful for, and then just kind of talked about my ticket to Whimsy and how I kind of talk about how I'm trying to just add more, little pieces of happiness into my life, and joining some Patreons and supporting some, artists. Doing that has been a ticket to more whimsy in my life. I love getting Happy Mail, and it has been really enjoyable to see all the different things that people create and just like how creative so many of these artists are. I just love it. We went to Kiawah Island, and so this is a bag from one of the places that my husband and I went and got brunch at, and this was a postcard from a bookstore that they had there. I just kind of wrote really briefly about the trip because I did an entire traveler's notebook. It's going to show you it, but I think I already archived it. It's like in my notebook, my traveler notebook archive binder. So I did an entire traveler's notebook insert. And so I didn't feel like I needed to do a lot in this journal because I filled up a whole thing. So this was kind of just like all the random things. Actually, these two things were from when we went to Kiawah last year, and I had bought like 2 postcards, and then I honestly think I just like forgot about this. This is a bookmark, and I didn't glue it in, so like, if I ever wanted to actually use it, I could pull it out. But I forgot that I had these, and I was going through, it was like cleaning up some stuff in my space, and I found these, and I was like, oh, perfect, because all I had really was this bag, because everything else went into the traveler's notebook, so I didn't have a lot to use. So I was excited because then I could, just kind of write a little bit about the trip before moving on. This is a junk page of a bunch of stuff that I gathered when we went to one of the libraries near us. So they had a book discussion about The Anxious Generation, which I'm actually currently listening to. I wish I would have, finished it before this book discussion because I would have really enjoyed that, but it is what it is. So this was the calendar, and then they had like a customer appreciation bookmark thing, and this is the receipt with the books that we had checked out. And the whole reason we went to the library was because my 6-year-old really wanted to get Captain Underpants, but they were all checked out. The librarian was like, oh yeah, those are a hot commodity. They're usually always checked out. So, and this was a sticker, and I just think it's fun to, randomly, we go to the library so often, so I don't always, document it in this way, but it had been a long time, and so I just thought it would be fun. They had so many things there that I could grab, and I was like, oh, I could definitely make a spread out of this. So I'm in the Simon Kids like book influencer program, and they sent specifically a Halloween box of books, and in the box they also had this sticker sheet, which I just thought was really cool. So I wanted to kind of document all the different books that were a part of the box, and then I noted all of my kids' favorites from the books. We had a lot of fun reading all of these, and I just was like, I loved all of the stickers. There was a few more, and I put them in, I think, my memory keeping journal as well, because I couldn't fit them all onto the spread. But yeah, I just thought it was a fun way to document, the different Halloween books that we had received. I hadn't done a currently inked in a really long time, and so I wanted to see what all of my pens had, like what ink they all had. And you can see I'm like very kind of like warm tones, nothing super I'm trying to challenge myself to use more colorful inks, and you can see from my currently inked, I was not doing a really good job of that. A lot of greens and blacks and browns. These are like the only 2 kind of outstanding colors. So I'm going to try to use, all of these pens to try to get all the ink out of them so that I can ink them up with some new fun colors. But yeah, this is a little bit of my pen collection as of right now. This is more of like an art journal style spread, and this is funny because, when I ever come back and look at this like years down the road, will I remember like why I did this? Maybe not, but it was a trend. I don't know. It was like a Charlie XCX song, and the people would just put girl whatever, and it was like video clips of, their like people just like living their lives. And the song was just stuck in my head constantly. So one night I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna journal about this, and maybe I'll get the song stuck out of my head. And so this was what came out of my brain. I think it looks really cool, but I just think it's funny, like an internet trend making its way into my journal, which has started to happen more often. And I don't know, I think it's interesting, like a unique way to kind of capture these really small, like internet moments, because how many freaking trends happen throughout a year? There's no way I could capture all of them. But when there's one that's like really stuck in my head, I clearly like have to do something about it. I am trying to learn more about tarot card reading. I really want to start getting into that practice. So this journal page is actually just me writing things down to like learn more about tarot cards and like how to approach doing a reading and stuff. So this is more just like a commonplace entry where I'm just like writing, because for me, I retain, and I think this is for most people, like I retain information so much more if I write it down. So why not make a fun journal spread about it? I have all these like really cool, like celestial tarot style, like journal stationery stuff. So I figured I might as well use it. And this was my first time doing this kind of lettering, and it turned out so good. I mean, I traced it beforehand, like I used a pencil and then I went back through. But I think it looks so cool. I just wish it didn't, like, I wish I could just do this and not have to, reference like the alphabet to do this. But I think it turned out really cool. I wish I would have centered it a little bit better, but it is what it is. I still think it turned out really nice. And now I have this. If I forget anything about what I was starting to learn, I can come back here and reference it. This was just a fun hike that I did with two of my kids. We went to a nearby nature center, and so I had the sticker, printed out pictures. This was just like a really beautiful view of the water, a selfie of me and the kids, and then I just kind of wrote a little bit about our day there. And yeah, the background paper is from Collage Soup, same as the washi. I went to a local bookstore and I just journaled about the books that I bought. So these are the 4 books that I had purchased, and I just wrote a little kind of synopsis about what they're about. And yeah, since I have so much like book washi and stuff, I thought it would be fun to just, kind of document things that I had purchased. So I haven't read any of these yet. I just bought these in October. So I'm hoping to maybe get to one of them at least in the month of November or December. We'll see. I have no idea what this page is. This is really a random junk dump of like just things that I must have had laying on my desk that I was trying to get rid of. Like this one is really nonsensical. My husband went to a stationery shop for me when he was in Chicago, and so this was like the washi that he bought. This was one of the stickers, and yeah, this is like packaging from one of the items he got. And then like this is from a restaurant. This is a piece of mail from the Nature Conservancy. And yeah, just like a random business card that I had laying around. And this is one of Ume's stickers. So yeah, this is like super, super random. And here is the washi that he bought me when he went to that stationery store. So I just wrote that it was from Pipsticks so that I can remember. Although I do think Pipsticks actually has their branding on the inside of their rolls. So this is one that I would probably be able to know where it's from, but I still like to document it anyway. And these are all the scraps and a couple little samples from King Jim, which I did a collaboration with them. They wanted to send me some stuff from their shop, and I still actually have to post the video of the haul that they sent me. But this was kind of all of the like the random, packaging and things like that from that shop. This was such a fun day. We went to a local farm, and they go all out with like fall activities for families, and so this was a bunch of things from that day. We bought some apple cider. This was from, I think, Bang Bang Paper's Patreon, and then this background paper is from Letters to Apollo. We got those like cream pumpkins. 2 pictures from the day. Here was the wristband, and yeah, I wrote about what we did there. And then this was some stuff from the corn maze, and I think this is from like the kettle corn maybe. So yeah, just a bunch of like random things from that day, and oh my gosh, it was like the perfect fall day. We had so much fun. This one's super random, but I had to get my son a new coat for the winter, so I ordered a couple pieces of clothing, and yeah, I just had some tags, and I just like took my little like art sticks and extended the rainbow lines from this tag, and I just wrote new coat for Henry. So yeah, nothing earth-shattering here. Something that I guess kids do nowadays is they boo each other, and that means like you get a basket of goodies and then you like ding dong ditch them. And so our neighbors booed us, which was really cute. My kids were super excited about it. They had all these fun stickers. There were so many of these stickers, so they were like fine that I took a few of them. They're glow in the dark too, which is cool. And then this was the note that they left us. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of document that because that is something new that I didn't know was a thing, and my kids really were excited about it. Oh, and I bought a couple of new fountain pens. So I had some funds from Atlas, and so I decided to use them to get a couple of new pens, which was Narwhal and a Kaweco, which is my first Kaweco. And my second Kakuno, I have a clear one, but I wanted to get a pink one that matches for my Hobonichi Weeks for next year. And yeah, I inked them all up and just wrote a little bit. I think I really want to get a Kaweco in the medium. This is what the fine looks like. So yeah, I love the green. I got the frosted green. So I'm trying to do more of like matching the inks to like what the pen looks like. So the Narwhal is like a purplish swirly pen, and then this is the frosted green, and this one just comes with the black ink, so I just kept that. I just wanted to do a like spooky style Halloween spread, so I wrote boo in that gothic lettering, and then I had some stickers from Prince of California that I put in here, and then I used those Delusions shimmer sprays to create this like effect, this like background, which I just think is really cool. And then this little quote was from the Found and Flowered newspaper, which I just thought it was fitting with like the aesthetic I was going for this page. Oh, I could talk about this forever, but I've been trying so hard to become a morning person. It is so hard. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm a night person, but I think I would really enjoy having time in the morning before my kids wake up. I can't get there. So anyway, I just wanted to journal about like why a morning ritual or like a morning routine would be good, and like things that I could do to make it an enjoyable experience. Like, I'm not trying to wake up to go do my workout, right? I'm literally just trying to like make a cup of coffee, do some quiet journaling, read a book or something. So just wanted to like write a little bit about that, and then I just used some fun pieces from, these are all from Collage Soup, and then I think some of these were from Bang Bang Papers Patreon, I think. So the zoo, the Cincinnati Zoo, has a Halloween event where they have like all these, you can kind of see them in this picture, all these jack-o'-lanterns that are carved, and then at night, they have them all lit up. So I decided to take my two older kids, and this is just kind of a spread documenting that. We had so much fun. There was a lot of really cool carvings, and we went right when it started. So like the kids had a little bit of daylight before it got dark. And I think it was perfect because I'm not sure if they would have made it through the whole thing in like complete darkness, because they were definitely towards the end getting like a little like spooked, but it was really cool. And these are all from Coco Daisy's like Halloween kit, and I just had like a bunch of stuff. So I was trying to use, I had a lot of Halloween stuff, so I was really trying to make some spreads that I could use, a bunch of the different stickers and washi tape and stuff like that. Read Frankenstein for the first time, and so I just did this little spread with some quotes from the book. This is just random. Grandparents sent a bunch of Halloween cards, so just cut up some pieces from the cards and made this fun little spread. More happy mail. Oh, my friend Melissa sent me a postcard and it just made my day. And I had all these elements from Found and Flowered, and it kind of went really well with like the card she sent me. So I just wanted to like have a place for that card to live, and I just journaled about how I really liked getting some surprise mail. And here we are at the end of the month. Once again, look at me not checking anything off of my checklist. I did do all these things though, so I'm actually going to go through and check these off now, because it feels good to check things off your list, even if it's delayed. So same as the September month, you know, just the typical clean all these things, wash the bedding. Now we're moving into getting rid of all the summer clothes and getting all the winter stuff in. So yeah, I did do everything. It usually takes me a couple of days. I don't usually get to it right away. So I think that's why I always am slow to come back and check things off. And here I did it a little bit different this month, and I just wrote out all the different things that I was hoping to read in the month of November. So let's go through. Anxious Generation, I'm actively listening to that now. Scythe, I finished that, which was really good. I'm waiting on the second book. People Watching, I started listening to that and then I got bored, so that's like a softie enough there. Falling Like Leaves, I did read, and it was super, super cute. And then, oh, here, see, and now I started writing like, oh, I already started this. Oh my God, I forgot to cross my T. I'm so bad at cursive. That's why I've been writing a lot more in cursive, because I'm trying to get better at it, because I feel like it's just like, it doesn't come naturally to me, and I'm trying to make it come naturally. So that's why you probably see a lot more cursive from me. And then, yeah, I did finish Filter World, which was really good. That was a lot. And I guess I can quickly show you my other journal and just do a quick flip through. I'm going to have to move my camera a little bit because it is a bigger journal. I don't know if I've really showed much in here, but yeah, like I said, this is just kind of like random junk dumps, a little bit of creative and art journaling, because I do like to have a little more space in here. And I've just been playing around with stuff. I think the nice thing about this notebook is, because it's just like a composition notebook, you know, I'm kind of just willy-nilly with it. I don't really care. Not that I necessarily care in my other journal either, but I don't know, there's something just really like freeing about having just kind of like a trash notebook, if you will. And it's really fun experimenting and just like having, you know, not feeling like I have to be like super perfect with anything. Not that I ever really do feel that way, but I guess I'm saying that because if that is something that you struggle with, get yourself a composition notebook. It is like very freeing. And like, yeah, see, it's just like some pages are truly just me experimenting with different materials and stuff. So I hope that this was an enjoyable flip through, and maybe you got some inspiration, or, you know, just enjoy looking at someone else's journal. I know a lot of times my pages are random and nonsensical. And it's, you know, it's just fun to share stuff with the world. So if you liked any particular page, or if there's anything you want to know more about or have questions or anything like that, you know, I'm always happy to answer anything from all of you. Like I said, there's a few more videos I'm hoping to get out by the end of the year, and hopefully I will find the time to do that. So until then, thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me today. I hope you found some inspiration or just had some company maybe while you were journaling or doing some house tasks or whatever it is you do while you're, you know, listening to some YouTube videos. So thank you so much as always for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.